Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to episode 11, I think it is. We'll find out when I post it. So we're back on this on this radio here, which is the 5R 41, and it's a Hallicrafters, and I've got all of this power section in place, and I'm going to describe what I did. But there's a reason why I'm really enjoying that I did this radio. And the reason is because it doesn't work. So that's the story. I turn it on, I get no audio, and it's actually teaching me quite a bit about how to troubleshoot an AM radio, which I really didn't know how to do before. So just to fill you in on what I've done so far, if you look at the schematic here, we'll see if we can get this close enough. Coming off of this diode, right before it goes to that resistor, which is 50 ohms, I'm supposed to have 130 volts, okay? So looking at the radio here, coming off the diode, I wasn't getting 130 volts, I was getting like 150. Now I don't know if that's because I removed all the battery section. So what I did was I put another resistor in here. This is a a 60 ohm resistor. So I have a 60 and a 50, 110 ohms. And now on this side of the resistor, I get my 130. Okay? You with me so far? So I have 130 going into the resistor here. Coming out here, it's about 110. So, right? So diode, 60 ohm, right here, 130 volts. Coming out is about 110. I then took a look at this and said, okay, what do I get here? Now on the first tube, which is the 3V4, I'm supposed to have 6.8 volts going into pin 7. Well, what I was getting was about 110. Not good. So how does it get there? Well, it comes through this 2.4K resistor, comes down, comes around, and goes here. So I was getting basically on this on pin 7, instead of getting 6.8 volts, I was getting like 3.2. So I wasn't getting enough voltage. All right. So what I did there is I took the 2.4K resistor out of circuit, which is this one here, and I replaced it with a 1.5K 10 watt resistor. So exactly what I'm getting here right now is about 6.5. Perfect, okay? So that's done. So I now am getting the right voltages. I've actually checked the voltages on every tube where it's listed here. And there's, for example, 85 coming out of the plate on the 3V4, 25 coming out of the plate on 1U5, 85 coming out on 1U4, and 85 coming out on 1R5. Well, that's good. However, I still get no audio. So what that's forced me to do is try to figure out exactly how do I fix this thing. So first thing I did, which I thought was interesting, is I said, let me check the speaker. Maybe the speaker's bad. So I have an audio generator, okay, and I put one side on the blue wire, and I'm going to show you where I'm putting this. I'm putting right here. This is the output transformer to the speaker. I'm putting one side here and one side here. I'm going to turn on my audio generator. This is the one I use for my amplifiers. So I have one going to the blue wire, and the other one is going to go to the red wire. Let's see what we get. Okay, so I know that my speaker's good. I have no power applied to this, by the way. There's no power on the unit. So I know my speaker coil is good. So the logical thing that would be next is to do the same test and connect it right here to this grid on pin 6, I think, right? Then I'll know, with power on obviously, and I'll know if this output tube is working. Now I've also put this in the tube tester and it tests good. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put that one lead on pin 6, right here. Pin 6 is right down here. And I'm going to take this other lead off of the red wire, and I'm going to put it on my B- rail. Okay? So theoretically, if you look at what I'm doing here, I've got a signal on my B-. It's going to come up and connect right here. Okay? Radio's not on yet. Let's turn the radio on. Let's hope we don't get any smoke. Let's turn it on. Radio's on. Tube is in there. Volume control should have no bearing. All I'm doing is a strict audio test here. Nothing. So there's nothing coming out of there when I go through the grid of that 3V4 tube. So let me turn the power off. So that tells me something, I think. I think what it tells me is I may have a short somewhere, or this resistor capacitor pack may be bad. And if you look in the radio, let me remove this. It's right here. It's a resistor capacitor pack, and in there we have a cap, a couple of resistors, and I'm going to have to ohm those out and see if they're good, and if not, I'm going to need to remove that and replace them. So that's where we are. Now, I don't have a signal generator. I'm sorry, I don't have a signal tracer. I have a signal generator, and I took the signal generator and I connected it up through the 1U4 tube, the IF amp tube, and I got nothing. And I've connected it at various points in the radio and got nothing. So so we've got something going on here, and I'm sure it's very simple. I've checked all the resistors that were in here to see if there's any open resistors. That would be a normal thing to look for. Nothing. I did replace a few that were out of tolerance. There's one here and there's one here. But nothing that was open. So I'm not exactly sure what to do. Like I said, I did check the voltages. I actually have a copy of that here. And you know, I've checked all my voltages. For example, on the 3V4, this is before I fixed that 2.4K resistor. I was supposed to get 85. I was getting 107. That's been fixed. And I'm going to go through and check all these one more time now that I've got this voltage down here where it needs to be. So that's where we are with the radio. This is a great troubleshooting lesson for me. I also did check the coils. The coils are all good. I've ohmed them out, obviously. The two cans and these coils here are all good. So that's where we are. All right, I'm going to post this now because I'm actually hoping that some of you will give me some more suggestions. But that's where we are at the moment, and I'm learning. So thanks. This is Ron.